And we are now live. Sorry about that. I was sat there looking at the screen thinking it will come on in a minute, and then realised it wouldn't until I pressed the button. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let's see what we've got. Audio. Excellent. Oh, pardon me. Full of wind tonight. Very tired, but we go on. Good evening, everybody. How are we all? 5 in, according to that. Oh, 6 in now. Good evening, Marines. How you doing, buddy?
It's nearly always first.
Yeah, it used to be Marines or Gem, didn't it? Race to see who the two are that get in first.
Yeah,
So
I think it's
we lost a few.
Marines for a while now. He's got it down to a T.
Well, how are we all? Isn't it exciting living in this crumbling world?
And we're up to 8 watching.
Yeah,
Anybody want to come and say hello? Let us know you're there.
yeah, they might be lurkers, which is absolutely fine. Good evening. Good evening, Pete.
They also may not be subscribers, but welcome.
Yeah, living in this broken down world, corrupt at all levels. Yeah, it's unbelievable. You got pickpockets everywhere. Let's say that. All over the streets, and all full of Parliament, full in Parliament as well. One is legal, the other isn't. One takes a small amount of money or your phone out of your pocket. The other will empty your pocket, your bank account, take your house, your livelihood. Yeah, they're the ones that will rob you of everything you own, including your culture, your country.
Your freedom.
Yeah, one gets a slap on the wrist off your pot, and the others get rewarded for it. You complain about it or kick up. That's it, you're in jail, ain't you, for dissent? I don't know. But at least if the police come knocking on your door for a meme or something like that, you ain't got to sit and wait for a court date, have you? Because you're pushed right up the list, above child abusers, women abusers, people that have been out stabbing people, people that have been out robbing people. Yeah, you get to jump that queue. So there are benefits. With the alleged wait for a court date nowadays. Anybody that dissents will be pushed through as quick as possible. Do not stop at go. Do not collect £200. Go straight to fucking jail. Just for dissenting. And then the juryless trials. This is another U-turn that could be coming up. I've got quite a bit to say on U-turns in a minute. But yeah, the juryless trials, they're not going to help this. We know they'll be like kangaroo courts with the biased justice system. But, are they going to do a U-turn because of the backlash from the public? No, I think it's more likely a backlash from their own MPs. If they did that, it would totally undermine what the justice system is designed for, to be honest. The fact that we've got more political prisoners in this country than there is in any country around the world, and that includes communist countries. I mean, that tells you all you need to know on that score, basically. But, I mean, things are only going to get worse. Now, we've seen all these U-turns they're making. You know, well, Starmer and Labour, they're on the way to another record, aren't they? With the most number of U-turns from any one government. They seem to announce a new one on a daily basis at the moment. But as I said, possibly one on the juryless trials. It looks like they may be dropping any idea of conscription and other ways of filling the gaps in the forces, which are absolutely fucking huge. They say they're going to spend the money that are spent on that on defence. Okay. Maybe a war tax? Could they tax us because there's wars going on? Can't see that. Because basically the treaties over the years say you can't tax your people to fund a war on other shores. I think it's something like that. Well, that's just what they're doing already, isn't it? So, but it's, as always, they're spending this money on the pretext of protecting and strengthening everybody else's borders. But as we know, they won't protect our own. Yeah, I mean, Ukraine, Middle East, well, you got Gaza. Now, they've been robbing us in taxes to pay for all sorts of shit out there. All the pretense of protecting their borders. Russia's still in the Ukraine. No, not much protection going on there. The Israelis flattened Gaza. No protection there. And now they're on about Greenland. So where's our money going? Comrade Starmer, where's our money going? Yeah, if Trump follows through with what he's promised or said he would like to do, how long before we're going to be accepting refugees from Greenland? Although they'd be nice refugees, because I think most people that live on Greenland are peaceful and got families. You know, they're not single fighting age young men.
Hey, yeah, we could ship all the immigrants to Iceland.
Yeah, it'd be a nice change from the dross of fucking humanity that they're importing now. But but hey, there don't seem to be many people about tonight.
Very
6.
quiet.
Well, this is what I was going to say. As you know, those of you that do watch my videos, I haven't been posting any. Simple reason. One, there's a lot to keep up with. And two, I've started to post videos now on Facebook. The first one I posted was only a short one about the weather. Over 700 views, I think that one got.
Look, it's snowing.
In a day. Another one's got over 500. One I put up a couple of hours ago is approaching 300. The last one on YouTube, 48. You tell me. I don't monetize anything I do. I don't expect money. I don't want money. Yeah, very strange. So most of what I am doing now is a lot more on Facebook. I do believe that the viewings on YouTube are messed around with shadow banning, etc., etc. Yeah, but and now this is one that's really in the news at the moment. Another U-turn that is underway. Not so much a U-turn, is the banning of under 16s from social media. Well, I did a video that I put on Facebook about this. Not so much on it. Now, they want to change, rather than just outright ban, they want to change the way that kids can get on social media safely. Well, if it's made accessible to them, it doesn't really matter what they put in place. I mean, teenagers nowadays will circumnavigate anything that's put in the way. They're very clever. But I think they're looking at the wrong area. Now, personally, I think it should be more concentrated on going after the sites and the creators that are responsible for posting this stuff. You know, this is what AI is supposed to be able to do, allegedly. And a little bit more effort from the parents as well to monitor what they're doing on there, etc. You know, I mean, I say AI, but banning is not the answer when you think that AI persuaded a 14-year-old. I won't mention what platform or what app it was, simply because there's an ongoing investigation and a case being brought up about it. But an AI bot basically persuaded or helped persuade a 14-year-old to take his own life. Yeah. Apparently he was chatting away to this bot for quite some time, and on other sites, I dare say, as well. But this bot helped to persuade him to take his own life. Now, that should immediately raise a red flag on AI. Absolutely, it should. Oh, what's going on here?
But it's the way of the future.
Yeah, it's the way of the future, they tell us. Now, I said, and I've always said, AI is a very dangerous thing. A very dangerous thing. No, I don't know whether it was faked, but a little while back, I remember a chap asked an AI bot, and it was Siri or Alexa or something, one of those. How would AI improve the world? And it went into how it would gradually eradicate humans, get rid of humanity. Now, I think AI is a bigger danger to us than any nuclear weapon. When a computer can think for itself and say that, if that was true, which I believe it was, several people have tried it.
And we've all seen Terminator.
Yeah, the Terminator scenario. That's right. We got until October, I think it is, until Skynet goes live. But yeah, think about that. It's and another kind of a U-turn in a way. Is the sections from the upcoming Hillsborough law. Well, I'm not at all surprised at that. Far from it. In fact, I was expecting it. Now, I've talked about it on here before. And this law that they want to introduce, the Hillsborough law as it's called, I'd back it 100%. As it would enable anybody at any level of power in government, in the police, they'd be bound by law to testify at any inquiries they attend. And what evidence they give could be used legally in cases against them. Basically providing a legal way to hold anybody, no matter what level, to account for various things like cover-ups, lies. And it would be nice to have that legal way of holding them to account. But they want to remove sections from it.
Good evening, Adrian.
Good evening, Adrian. And it's plain to see what they're doing. The sections they want removed are the bits that would allow them to be investigated and shit.
It would force them to be.
It would force them to be compliant.
More
And
to the point.
That's why they want to remove them, I think.
Yeah.
You know, they realise that their own proposed law could bring them down.
Well, let's face it, they've been on every side of every coin of every road.
Yeah, well, they can't allow that, can they? If they're going to get pulled down by their own laws, you know.
I haven't heard Starmer blame himself for these rights that these immigrants have got, though.
Yeah. And the police probably won't welcome the news either. Well, they will welcome it. Because of their involvement in cases like the grooming gangs inquiry. You know, they're balls deep in cover-ups, the police. But yeah, and that's still being blocked every way as well at the moment. I believe the inquiry is supposed to have started by March this year. But as of yet, anything around it seems to have been buried. Nobody seems to want to talk about it. But yeah. Where's my bloody lighter gone? Oh, there it is. But sorry if I'm a bit slow tonight, guys. I am very, very fatigued. I've not been sleeping well. But yeah, today we had the big gathering started, wasn't it? Builders, the meeting of world leaders, or as I put it on Facebook, the meeting of dictators, tyrants, liars, fraudsters, criminals.
Daleks.
Hey? Daleks, yeah. Yeah.
He keeps calling it Davros.
Davros, yeah. But and there's all sorts of speeches coming from. Reeves making a complete tit of herself as usual. Stood there bleating on about how well our economy's doing, how our investments and money coming into the country is going. Absolute pack of lies. Telling everybody the economy's on the up on the very day that the OBS say that the interest rates?
Interest rates gone up again.
Interest rates and that have gone up again, which will put up the cost of living again and the cost of fuel again. And she's there telling them this ain't happening. How they've got the balls to stand up there and do it.
She didn't think it was coming out till tomorrow.
Eh?
She didn't think the news was coming out till tomorrow.
Well, yeah, obviously. Unfucking believable. And it looks like Starmer's chickened out on going face to face with Trump. Although I did start to watch some of his speech. I have been trying to watch the odd one or two. But Trump's just put me to sleep, basically. I mean, it was just literally so long, and most of it was blowing his own trumpet.
It was Muhammad Ali all over again.
Yeah. I am the greatest. But, yeah. I mean, he absolutely ripped the fucking EU apart on their own ground. He ripped the UK apart. Yeah. No. I went, well, did he plan to do it? I don't know. But his speeches, a lot of them, seem to be off the top of his head. And to be honest, he does a better job of it than Starmer does from a fucking prompter. But, yeah. It was... But we got, what is it, 3-4 days of this shit? Probably costing us hundreds of thousands to fly God knows how many people there. We know Khan's going to be there. He's on the committee of one of their subgroups, the C40 cities. And we know what that's all about. But not much said. It was all about defence, basically. It was all about defence from what I could see today and what they're going to do about defending Greenland was the biggest topic, I think. But, after months of Starmer trying to take us back into the EU and gradually doing it by the looks of things through the back door, he's been getting a lot of backlashes on it. In particular, the bit about the ECHR. As we know, the government and the justice system in this country use the ECHR literally to trample all over our rights and give more rights to people that have arrived here illegally. Now, with many calling for a referendum on this, what would you do? How would you vote? Do we vote to come out, take a clean break, clean cut from everything so we can take back control of the country, do away with the ECHR? That would do away with a lot of our issues with immigration, amongst other things. We could close our borders if we wanted to. But then you've got the argument to stay in, which some people will see, and I'll be honest, I can see that side of it. They're going to say we buy most of our food from the EU. We buy most of our energy from the EU. All at inflated prices. So yes, they would be right to say, okay, let's go back in because we're going to struggle if we go on our own. But then the EU will get the way they wanted. I mean, food security, they're already doing away with most of their own food security with what they're doing to their farmers in the EU. So, yes, we would be basically totally reliant on the EU for our food. Same with power, energy. They'd have complete control of that. And if you think prices would drop on anything going back into the EU, don't even consider it because they won't. But it gives them another key, another thing to hold over us, to use against us whenever they need it. Energy, will they drop the price? No. They may be able to negotiate a cheaper deal with the EU countries for the energy. But you know what this government's like? All they'll do is fill that void with extra tax.
We need energy producers in this country that are owned by us. It's like this wind farm that they've sold off to God knows who. It should have been ours.
Chinese.
It should have been ours so that we got the profit. So that profit could be shared amongst the little boys and girls that have to pay their energy bills.
So it would come down to a choice of whether you would hand over control of everything in your life to unelected, corrupt entity such as the EU, or would you say fuck off and we'll go our own way, we'll struggle with what we've got and we will rebuild?
After the war.
Eh?
We did it after the war.
We certainly did do it after the war. Don't mention the war. I think I got away with it.
Yeah. Hardy ha ha.
But yeah, I mean that's basically what you'd be voting for.
Personally, I would go for let's try and get out of it. Go back to trying to run our own country, and do what Trump said. Let's make Britain great again.
Are you getting any comments over there?
No, nobody's talking.
No, neither am I. Viewings are low as well.
Yeah, there's nobody there.
So something else going on
whether
tonight.
Adrian and Marines are there. That's why I'm talking to you, darling, because there's fuck all coming in from anybody else. So
even the regulars went in there.
Well, we don't. That's why I said if you're lurking, let us know. Because if we're talking to an empty room, if everybody's gone, and that's it, the only people we've got left in the room are those that are.
Oh, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's 10 watching.
But yeah, we need a bit of feedback, guys. Let us know that you're still there.
No, any opinions on
Moo, you out given there? Where are you tonight? Yeah. Maybe Moo's got a date.
Yeah. It's really weird. Really weird. Well, I mean, no, they're fucking around with the education again, with the kids. And I'll actually play this. I did a short video for Facebook. Where are we? There we go. Put that on hold a minute. yeah, I was joining a lot of dots up effectively with what they've tried to put in place.
Here's Roger.
Good evening, Lodger. With what they've tried to put in place, what has been rejected, what they've said they want to put in place. Now, this is what I think the timeline of a kid would be under Labour if they got everything through. It's easier than me just talking about it because I am quite tired. So we keep hearing Labour want to protect the kids. We protecting the kids. Starmer says he's protecting the kids. Well, let's see what he intends to do to protect the kids. And this is all stuff he's talked about, put forward, tried to put in place. I mean, from birth, they will have a digital bio ID. From birth. As soon as they're born, they're going to take their DNA. Then they'll endure many, many years of assaults with needles under the guise of keeping them healthy, followed by years of indoctrination under the guise of education. And it won't be optional. And all the time through those years, they realistically face the threat as soon as they step out the door from predators on the streets and everywhere they turn that have been allowed in by Labour and others. But then more importantly, at 16, more importantly, nothing's more important than the kids' health and well-being. But at 16, they'll get given the vote if he has his way. So after years of being brainwashed in school, false-fed propaganda and the narrative by state-controlled TV and mainstream media, not knowing anything about reality or the real world, or live in the real world, because they've been banned from social media all through those years. And then they'll move on to either higher indoctrination or the military, or both. So under his rule, every kid born will enter adult life as a blank, indoctrinated drone, a zombie. But also think of the last time a Western country tried to do exactly the same. Didn't end well, did it? Took a world war to stop it. Think of that, people. Well, there you go. That was posted on Facebook. But if he had everything in place, I think that is quite a realistic timeline. I don't know what you guys think. I mean, everything, literally, that I said there, they have either discussed, talked about, or showed interest in introducing it. Yet they're still in power. Unbelievable. I mean, you got this is quite an interesting one. The fact that at the moment as it stands, they can't cancel any elections in May, I believe, under court ruling. Because Farage has brought a case to court, well, Reform have, against the Labour for cancelling the local elections. And I believe the court ruling was that they can't change anything, stop anything until after the court hearing, which is, I believe, booked for around the 20th of February. So that's going to be an interesting one. But there is no other reason for them to cancel any of the elections. And, cancel them because you know you're going to lose. There is one Labour, I think he's actually an MP, said that if they cancelled the elections, he will resign to force an election in his area. Now, he's a Labour bod. Can't remember his name now. But yeah, things are progressing on that. If the law turns round and says, yes, they can cancel them basically just because they're going to lose, that should never be allowed.
Well, no, because if they cancelled all of them, it's
good evening, Jen.
Around, I don't know whether it's under or over, but it's around 4 million people that lose the right to vote.
At the moment, I think it's 29 councils, and yes, you're right. There would be around 4 million. Look, I'm live. They told me early today that would lose their right to democracy. Now, I'm wondering that if they did go ahead and got to do this, how people would stand legally, being told what to do, having money taken off them in way of council tax and shit, to an unelected council. They're still there. You were expecting
they've served their term,
the vote, and they've said no, fuck off, you can't have them. We're staying. Would they be still legally acting for you? Could you turn around and say, well, I didn't vote them in, we didn't get an election, so I'm not going to take any notice of them? They've used the only excuse they're using is they're cancelling them for restructuring, which I don't believe for a fucking minute. Good evening, Tony.
They've all just got a notice. Good evening, everyone that's just joined us.
Yeah, the alert's probably just gone out. That's why
like
I've just got it. Yeah. Thank you, YouTube. Brilliant fucking work.
Right on parade again. At least we know we're not talking to an empty room now.
Well, you'll have to look back through it to see what I've been through all my notes. One we haven't discussed is the Chinese, isn't it? Well, nobody's been discussing it.
And the Chinese embassy.
Yeah, the people that have been voted. Well, it brings in what you were saying just now as well. Yeah, that's what I mean, Lodger. If they're past their term of office, do we still have to keep paying them? You're just lurking tonight. Yeah, all right, Jen, no worries, darling. Yeah, it's it's an unelected entity. We know what they're doing. They're trying to do away with a lot of things, and it all be controlled by a regional mayor, which they hope would be Labour. But well, considering we got one mayor in the country that has an interpreter because he can't speak fucking English, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Someone that can't speak the language, but they're put in a place of power to run a fucking county or whatever. It should never happen. It should never happen. Well, welcome the latecomers. If it's because you've received a late notification. It's nothing to do with me. I posted it up at about 4 o'clock this afternoon, so it's all down to YouTube. But yeah, I'm doing more on Facebook now rather than YouTube. I get a bigger reach. More and more people are watching. Well, I know people are watching here, but YouTube aren't just interested in letting us know that. Good evening, Miss E. Long time no see. Yeah, we're both not too bad.
Good, thank you.
Sussex will
Thank you
East,
again for
West,
asking the same question.
Unbelievably. Coastline. Yeah, exactly, Lodger. Exactly. It's they're literally trying to quash democracy. In the moment, it's only the locals, and believe me, they will try and find a way of blocking a general election because they know they haven't got a hope in hell's chance of winning. But yeah, pardon me, the Chinese embassy fracas. Well, now Reeves and Trump and Starmer are still calling America one of our greatest allies. But yeah, Jen, you see the state of her. Heck, you know. But calling Starmer one of our greatest allies, or all our allies are Europe, yet he's cozying up to China. With basically now the plans for their new super spy centre, as I call it, in London, going ahead. But tie this in with what Reeves said today in her little speech in Davos. I mean, it was a speech, but it was in a section where they were supposed to be talking candidly amongst each other, several of them on stage in front of an audience and the press. And she was bleating on about how we're getting investments into this country, money coming into this country. But she wasn't saying how they were doing it to them there. Well, we know China has just basically taken over our steel industry. That was announced the other day. So our industry, no, it's not, because any money to be made, serious money to be made out of it, will go in China's pocket. The energy industry, China are heavily funding the nuclear side of things, also the wind side of things, as we know. Again, yeah, you bring an investment into the country, but none of the profits of that investment will stay here. And China is probably one of the worst ones. We know what the embassy could entail with the cables that they've said to run by it. Everybody's told them it's a bad idea. Every other world leader has told them it's a bad idea. But Trump got him on the fucking brain today. Starmer just blunders in there and says it's going to happen. No worries, Missy. It's you got to look after your own nowadays. You know, you don't get any support from anywhere in officialdom for anything like that now. But yeah, should the Chinese be allowed to have that embassy? I don't think so. I don't think so. I consider the Chinese worse and a bigger threat than the Russians. But obviously the biggest threat to this country itself is Starmer himself.
I was going to say.
I mean,
Are you worried about somebody taking over the country? No, because anybody would be better than what we've got.
Yeah.
Please.
I mean, you've got the Israelis now. Probably one of the. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that looking away from the microphone. Very, very proficient in espionage, surveillance. Britain and America have relied heavily in the past on their intelligence. And they've said, no, we're not going to exchange any data, info, intelligence with the UK. Same as Trump did. Trump did say some information, didn't say all. Because we're branded as a threat, a security threat, because connections to China. Fraud in America, unbelievable. Yeah. Now, them ICE attacks, Lodger. Now, I totally understand what Trump's trying to do, and I've said this a few times before. But I don't agree with the way he's going about it. I mean, to the average viewer, and I don't mean listening to mainstream media because you don't see a lot of it on there, looking at first-hand videos and what have you. Obviously, you got to take the fact that they could be edited. But to me, it just looks like most of the ICE guys have gone rogue. They're just doing whatever the hell they want. They're arresting American citizens as well as illegals. They're battering legal American citizens. A lot of them are protesters, admittedly. But there was a story came out the other day of a disabled woman with a serious brain injury that was on her way to see a consultant when she got caught up in the cars that were blocking the ice. Now, I can't say whether she was involved, but this is the story as it was laid out. She was on the way to an appointment. ICE asked her to do something. She couldn't do it because she had cars in front of her, cars behind her. She told them she was disabled. She told them she was an American citizen. But they continued to drag her out of her car just for pointing out that she was an American citizen. That's not the way they should be going about it. Yeah, that one, Lodger, I did see, and that was bang out of order. Bang out of order. Same as the Islamists here that have walked into our churches in this country, in Ireland, in Europe, shouting all their shit that their cult's into. That should never be allowed. Can you imagine the fucking uproar if one of us walked into a mosque and started slandering them off? There'd be fucking hell up. It would be, don't pass go, straight to fucking jail. ATL, good evening, buddy. But yeah, it's
ATL's your American friend.
Yes, he is. Yes, he does run.
Whereabouts is he being affected by all this ice?
I don't know. You can answer that one yourself, actually, ATL. Have you got any problem with ice where you are? It's nuts. Yeah, tell me about it, mate. From what the videos I'm seeing,
it looks ridiculous.
It looks near enough like anarchy on the streets. I mean, yeah, there's conspiracy theories being bandied around over here that ICE is Trump's private little army, and what he's doing by this is preparing the people for similar to martial law, which again, it would be taking America into 1930s Germany. that's the way they wanted it here. Your papers, please. Where's your digital ID? I'll tell you, a lot of people seem to be over there, ATL. It's, you look at what Trump's trying to do there, as I said earlier. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. The way he's going around it is bad, but he's always been power hungry, but it seems he's gone over the top now. I mean, especially with the Greenland issue, I mean, Hitler did that, didn't he? Oh, I want that country because it's got minerals I want, or it's got strategic placement that I want. I'll invade that. I want that one.
But what does it matter who owns a country?
It's not in your area yet. Yeah, I mean, Starmer said it himself when he talked about Greenland. He said Greenland belongs to the Greenlanders. So why don't Britain belong to us Brits? Why doesn't America belong to Americans? That was just a stupid fucking statement. Any country should actually belong to its people. And powers that be around the world now seem to have forgotten that. All they see is a chunk of land. They don't see the people. Yeah, they will, ATL. They'll move. They'll move from area
to a safe spot.
Yeah, there's no activity there. That's a safe spot.
Is that so that you'll get to the point you're begging the ice guys to come in and sort it out because it's got ridiculous in your area?
But as they've said, there are areas that I've seen reported on in America where crime and the way they live has gone right down after they've blitzed the area. Chuck Norris made a good observation, said he'd changed voting for the Republican reason. Democrats have gone too far left. On that, Lodger, I don't think anywhere you'll find that any government that's the same as it was.
The Conservatives aren't the same. Liberal Democrats didn't exist.
And I don't mean just how, I mean governments around the world, the different ones as well, third world countries.
Evening, Moo. What time do you call this?
Moo. I mean, I've always said for quite a few years now, since I've been not following politics, but listening to it, I'll say, because I never had any interest in it before. I got money in my pocket, I got beers in the fridge, a motorbike between my legs, I'm off. I'm happy as fucking Larry. But yeah, people are taking more notice. And it's through social media. The information we're getting now, when you think, when I was in my late teens, literally I'm getting probably 90%, 99% more information and what have you now about the government because of social media. We don't just have to rely on state-controlled mainstream media. Sorry, busy doing nothing. I did see I think it was Minneapolis, ATL, that the Black Panthers are back on the streets, tooled up. It seems a lot of groups are coming up like that. I mean, all of a sudden, all these ICE guys have popped up, tooled up, trained. What happened to the Proud Boys? Have they morphed? Mm-hmm. Seems strange. But, it's the approach to immigration, we need a big change here, a big change. A friend of ours was round last night, actually, and we were talking about this. And you think you've got parties out there, saying first thing they'll do when they'll get in is mass deport the illegals. No, they won't, because the logistics around that, the cost of that, of removing them all in a short period of time, it just won't happen. So I'm saying now to any of them, Rupert Lowe, Reform, any of those parties that have promised to do this, they're lying to you, because it won't happen. And it won't be the first thing they do. They are not the Panthers from the 60s. No. Yeah, I'm not going to call them gangs. I'll call them groups. Yeah, it was a lot different back then, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, I did say about AI earlier, Moo. I mean, I really believe that AI is a bigger danger to the human race than any nuclear weapon. Yeah, there was the movement back then between the coloureds and what have you. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a lot of people lost their lives over it to get it across, But, it's the groups over there. It's a job to follow. You got things like what they called the guardian angels on the underground in places. That was a big thing at the time. Apparently, they're making a return as well. We've got vigilante groups. Well, I won't call them vigilante groups because most of them are a bit beyond that. But we've got private people here forming groups in their towns, in their areas, to patrol their own areas because of the risk from immigrants and what have you. They want to protect their areas. They want to protect their families. Now, the police usually talk down a lot of these because they see them as vigilantes. Now, if the police would work with them, it would probably make their job easier, to be honest. They're just regular citizens that want to keep them and their own safe. And I can't see a problem with that. There are a lot of articles that AI is a satanic whore.
Nice turn of phrase, actually, yeah.
Yeah, what you want to do is...
It's always that voice, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Alexa type thing and the Siri type thing.
Well, that's just what I was
going
to say, because I said about it before ATL come in. Ask Siri or Alexa or something like that how AI would do away with humanity to make it better. Yeah. I mean, a big one in America for many years, and I'm going back many years, was the bikers protecting kids. They'd find a kid that had been bullied or something had happened in their life, and the bikers will turn up en masse, stand behind this kid, take them to school if they're being bullied and stuff like that. And that's starting to catch on big time over here now. In fact, there is a group that protects kids against any problem. I believe he was a biker, the guy that started it. Shield, I think it's called. I've seen good and bad about them, but it's people getting together to help themselves because the government is doing nothing. There wouldn't be any need for this. I mean, Starmer keeps saying, oh, the charities are doing bloody brilliant, feeding people, helping people out of homelessness. It shouldn't be down to fucking charity. In a developed world, the food should be there for the kids. You shouldn't need to go begging for charity. That's that can empty. Oh. But that's the state of the country today. But well, we know our police are going about things the wrong way here as well, don't we? They're blaming the wrong people for certain things, and the way they go about things is totally wrong. As I said, we've got the world's biggest haul of political prisoners, mainly over social media. One or two that are bigger cases, and some that have been going on, like Tommy Robinson. We've got the highlighted cases like Lucy Connolly, who's been threatened with being recalled to prison apparently over a meme. One that's been seen hundreds of thousands of times on Facebook, but she's the only one that gets hauled in for it and talked to. Well, this is one of my beefs with it, ATL. Now, you got Amazon a few months back announced, I think it was 240 odd thousand redundancies because they were being replaced with AI. Now, our government here are telling us, unemployment is down. Yet everywhere you look, people are losing their jobs either through high taxes, so people can't afford to keep paying them. Businesses are collapsing. And the other thing is AI is taking the jobs. Yeah. I've always said it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. It's a fun tool to play with, apparently. I don't do it. I have no interest in AI. If I want to fog up a photograph, I do it all the long-winded way through Photoshop. I don't just ask the computer to do it and expect to get a result.
If there's anybody out there knows how to do one of these silly videos in the back, yeah.
I've had this idea. If anybody does know how to use it and has got the apps to do it, what I want to see is a meme of Starmer stood at the dispatch box in the Commons and all the benches stood up and waving like a football crowd going, Starmer's a wanker. Yeah, I've got great ideas for it, but I won't use it. I consider it a dangerous thing.
And you don't know where to start.
And as I said earlier, you got one app, again, I won't name it because there is legal proceedings going on at the moment, a bot that actually helped persuade a 14-year-old take his life. Yet they're telling me that AI is going to be used in surgery, it's going to be used to diagnose your illnesses. I'm sorry, but if that's the sort of help AI gives, I'd rather take me fucking chances without it. Yeah. I don't embrace technology easily. It's been hard enough for me to soak up and learn social media, but it always seems to be one step ahead of people my age, especially when you got a fuzzy head like mine. But yeah, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I mean, we sat here, I think it was the weekend, myself and Mrs. W it was some program on TV where it had an old clip showing them putting a baby in the gas mask. Remember, they did more or less a whole body cover gas mask for newborns and babies during the war. And it showed this couple struggling to put this baby in. As soon as the baby in, it was crying. So the father would take it out, cuddle it till it stopped crying, shove the thing back in, off it would go again. And we made a couple of comments on it. Yesterday, in my feed on Facebook, I get a post how they used to fit these babies in these gas masks. Now, that is a total random thing. It's something that I'd never even have searched for on there. I certainly haven't searched for it. I've never watched it on the internet.
Can't even remember what program it was.
No,
on.
I can't. But there it was. How to put your baby in a World War II gas mask designed for infants. And we've had this several times. We have actually did a test over a couple of nights. We discussed a few things and gave a few highlighted words mentioning items, places. And within hours in the feed, everything about it. Yeah, and we were just sat here talking. So, yeah, we're being surveilled all the time. Data's being collected.
But I keep talking about mankinis on Sexy Men, and they don't probably my feet. What?
Oh, I love it. I've got to get a drink. Yeah, the best bit is you'd probably look better in a mankini than I fucking would.
Oh, shut up. Wouldn't sit right. But the top half wouldn't sit right. Oh, look.
Oh, look what?
There's nobody there.
Nobody
there
where?
You are, you're coming through the door. You're walking past me, looking at the telly, putting your drink down, sitting down.
What's been being said? They all just done a sword now and replicate themselves. Yeah, exactly, Moo. Exactly. I mean, you look at some of these robots they're building now with AI and shit. You know, would it follow the Terminator scenario? Will they become self-aware at some point? Because at the moment, I mean, AI can only do more or less what you instruct it to do. You know, someone's instructed AI, oh, do this, do that. But the thing is, unless there's security in place, you could ask AI to do anything you want. And this is where the problem's coming in with X and Starmer. Because, yeah, people are manipulating photographs of kids and shit.
I was going to say, I don't see AI in its current technical niche becoming particularly dangerous because it can't go far from the computer it's in. And let's face it, if it is in one of these autonomous bodies that can walk and run, I am particularly scared.
Yeah, but they're introducing it in defence, in the military, surgery.
Oh, if it can get into the network of the
Yeah.
computer network and take over that,
Mm.
we're screwed.
There
But
you go.
physically, what I'm saying is physically.
Yeah, if you've got an off button, fucking use it.
They are not
Yeah.
currently at that status of Terminator that they're going to come after us. And
Well,
yeah.
you think how loose internet security is now. They say it's totally secure when you've got a
is it?
robot
Oh.
asking you if you're a robot. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Look how easy it is to click on a link because you think it's interesting.
yeah.
You see what's on the screen as you don't see what's behind it. You don't see where it's taking
Yeah,
you.
but you look how many links I dismiss because it's connected through something else. No, I'm not going to click on that.
I'm saying that
Yeah.
every time we look at something with a link, we have to assess whether that is
Yeah,
safe
is it a
or
risk?
not.
Isn't it a
Yeah.
risk? Look at what site it's come from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And AI is only going to improve the scammers to be able to hide
But
their information in these things.
the more and more the information is online, there's more and more for the scammers to find and get into and use. That daily we hear about some business has been hacked or some bank's been hacked, military's been
As long as
hacked.
they put money into my account, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, if they hacked into my account, they'd be sorry disappointed. They'd probably
That's what
use
I mean.
more money in power than what they could get out of that. But
They want my bank details, that's fine. I don't know what they want to buy, but they won't get very far.
yeah, yeah. What was the old saying? Oh, phoned up the bank and said the wife's got my credit card. He said, but don't worry about it because she'll spend more than the scammers will. Something like that. I can't remember it exactly, but I remember.
My wife's credit card has been stolen. Yes, sir, but the thieves are spending less than she.
Yeah, it was like we're writing lines, wasn't it, Moo? I was one of these that used to tape 5 pencils together so I could write 5 lines at the same time. But yeah, you could just sit at a computer, do me 100 lines on this. But if you read how AI words things, you can tell.
In the first 3 sentences, normally.
You can tell whether it's AI or not, especially if it's answering questions. I mean, as soon as I got onto YouTube when I had a big beef with them, I knew instantly that it was an AI bot that I was chatting to. It wasn't a human being. So, yeah, I spent the next half hour winding the bot up, asking it totally irrelevant and stupid questions.
I had one where it wouldn't answer my question. It was giving me something similar, but wasn't quite on the ball. And I just went, are you a robot? And he went, yes. I went, can I speak to a human, please?
Well, it will get to
and
a
he put
point.
me through to a human.
It will get to a point with AI where kids will start losing the ability to write. They don't need pen and paper anymore. I mean, I'm old school. You got people on YouTube have a scrolling prompter, things all set up. Oh yeah, click, here's that story. I'm still old school. I write notes. I was taught to write as a kid, so I still use that. And this is the problem. It's not just abilities like being able to write that they're drumming out of the kids. It's also the ability to think, to rationalise. That's being brainwashed out of the kids. They don't want anybody thinking for themselves. You know, they see us thinking for ourselves, and it's causing them more bother than anything.
You can't do that.
They can't deal with it. Yeah, it's I don't like the modern world.
We're just two old fogies, baby.
Well, yeah, you know, I understand we come from a total different generation, but as I've said before, we've seen the changes.
But we understand respect.
Yeah, we were taught different values. We had a totally different education. The parents took as much responsibility for educating the kids as schools did. You won't even have type when you have your implant installed. Yeah, you just think it, Moo, and it appears.
It's why I've tried to be an educator for my grandchildren.
Yeah. When me and you speak, they are interested in what we used to do back in the day and how, you know, we used to do things.
Not anymore.
Well,
They're 12 and 13.
But you know what I mean? As they grow up. I mean,
they will become interested again.
You look at some of these kids, well, I won't call them kids, they're feral animals that are on the streets at the moment. You know, it looks like during the day they're kicked out the door in the morning. Whether you go to school or not is up to you. You know, it's... We would I was dragged to school a couple of times. Literally, when I refused to go because I didn't want to. I was dragged to the door. You know? But, yeah, again, doing away with the way that parents can punish kids. You know, kids being allowed to take their parents to court for crying out loud. Never had any of that back in my day. You know, you had a belt put across your ass or your back. You knew you'd done something fucking wrong. It wasn't a slap on the wrist. And you respected that. I always said, and I still the same today and have been with the police over the years. If I've done anything wrong, I'll hold my hands up. You know? Yeah, but there are several countries using the implant already, Moo. I believe some of the Scandinavian countries, some are already using it. China, I think they're using retinal scans and facial recognition and stuff like that. But yeah, some of them have got the implant in the hand, you know, pay by wiping your hand across the swipe panel and shit like that.
Well, at least you don't stand much chance of losing it.
The thing is, I
won't pay on my phone.
We've been brought up seeing the fictional version of that. Stuff like that was science fiction. It was way in the future when we were young. It's getting too technical. Well, there ain't going to be any old people before long.
We will survive. We are the unjabbed.
It'll be like the film. You'll get to a certain age and then you'll go into the recycling system. No, the other one. Fucking hell. Logan's Run.
Oh, sorry. Soylent Green is where they turn the people into food.
Turn the people into food. I didn't say turn the people into food. They were just killing them off. But Soylent Green, yeah, that's where with Charlton Heston, that was the one they were turning people into the green biscuits. Would anybody notice nowadays with all the fabricated and manufactured food, false food that we eat?
plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a video I saw popped up on me thing earlier, and this guy's thrown his McDonald's burger in the fire. It will not burn.
Wouldn't burn. Well, it's like the ones that have been kept for 15, 16 years and they've never gone rotten or mouldy. Food? No, not a chance.
I bought salad. Expiry date was something like the 24th of December. It was a bag of Floretti or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And it was fine 3 days ago. How can lettuce leaves stay fresh that long?
Chemicals.
I'd opened it.
But again, on the talking about the food, even the RSPCA now starting to get involved in the halal meat debate. Now, I've always considered non-stun kill cruel. I have had to do it for injured farm animals where you have got to kill them on the spot. You've got no way of stunning them. Obviously, if you do have the equipment with you, you can use a gun or a bolt gun. But when you're out in the middle of nowhere, it's usually a slit throat. But that is more of a mercy thing. Yes, it causes them pain, but it doesn't last that long. But for food stock, now, if that's what they're used to eating, fine. If they can eat it in their own country, even better. But absolutely, why it's still going on, and they could still allow it to carry on, the food should be absolutely clearly labelled, whether it's halal or non-halal meat. The complaints are coming from both sides, funny enough, at the moment, from the people that eat it and those that don't, because there's no way of telling. There's codes and that, but you got to go for it, take a list of bloody codes with you when you go shopping.
Well, the complaints from the one side is anything marked halal is more expensive. But a lot of the things that are on the shelf are halal, not marked as such, and are cheaper.
That's what I'm pointing at.
Yeah,
if you'd have waited.
Yeah, I was trying to join in.
The fact that it comes from both sides, and both sides, looking at it, have got reasonable arguments.
Yes.
They don't want to eat non-halal. We don't want to eat halal. So one or the other has got to be clearly labelled. So on that score, it would keep both sides happy. Although I'm still of the belief that it shouldn't happen. But believe it or not, most of the livestock that is stun slaughtered gets bled out anyway. So, from that point on the process, it's exactly the same. But it's the suffering of the animal that's got to be considered, and that's what most people are going after. Oh, got an itch now. But, there's no difference in the taste to how the animal's been slaughtered. Well, you might if it's been blown up, but but on most slaughter forms, there's no difference in the taste. It's more of the cult thing, the religion thing, isn't it? Because unfortunately, I don't see Islam or class it as a religion. But yeah, there we go. This is the world today, and I don't like it. But there's a program on tonight It's already started on PBS America. It will be
starts in 10 minutes.
Starts in 10 minutes apparently, and she is right because it's on at 8:35. But it will be repeated, and it's a program called about how symbols, obviously like the swastika and stuff for that, have had their meanings changed to evil. The symbol's gone from being a symbol of good to a symbol of evil. As I say, it starts in 10 minutes. Now, that would probably be an interesting watch. If they're past documentaries on that sort of thing or anything to go by, there was a two-parter on how they use the narrative and propaganda in war and use that for the wrong cases, as it were. And that was very interesting. Very interesting. The various ways they introduced it, announced it. Yeah. And I think this one will be the same. It will be on later in the week, so I will watch it. I'll probably catch the tail end of it when we've finished on here, and then watch the first half of it when it comes up again. But yeah, the swastika's one. What else was there? The eagle, the symbol of the eagle, was used in many different times, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the ones that's.
I think the Romans had it. The Americans use it. Yeah, it's. It'll probably be a lot of it. It'll be about symbols.
Yeah, if you look at that icon, it's the eagle and the swastika.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's so you got the two together, the eagle and the swastika, and we both know at that point in history what they were to represent. But the Romans had the eagle on their staffs, and
but he's got a wreath in there as well. That's remembrance and respect, and
yeah, there's all sorts. Well, when we watch it, we'll find out what it's about, and then we'll be able to talk about it, won't we? Because I don't know a lot of the meanings behind it. And that's one of the things I want to find out. But again, the swastika was used in different cultures. It was used in different religions. It represented different things. And Hitler decided he was going to use it for the bad things, totally changed the meaning of the symbol. And funny enough, this has always been one of my things when they've been deciphering hieroglyphs and stuff like that. Well, how do they know? Because some of them hieroglyphs probably meant different things in different groups, areas, Egypt, wherever. And they could have had dual meanings, yet they managed to decipher it all. I mean, there's only one lot of hieroglyphics or carvings. I can't remember what it's called now. It's on a stone, and at the moment, nobody has been able to identify or decipher the images on it. They run it through computers. They've actually tried to run it through AI. And they can't decipher it. There's always the theories, it was written by aliens and stuff like that. But there's a lot of things like that you can't explain. And as I say, things have changed. as science changes, history changes.
No, ATL, I don't think so. Not in any way.
I don't know, HL. Do you want to look into that? See if there is any difference?
Because you get kosher salt. How can salt be kosher if it's...
Hello, yeah, you cut the salt's throat, yeah. Well, have a look, see what it says.
Don't you?
Good. Save me doing it.
But the Americans go on
Kosher
about
slaughter
kosher.
humanely. Yeah, but it's not. Kosher doesn't just cover meat. ATL. You know,
Yeah, halal isn't slaughter humanely.
Yeah, that's what ATL put.
It's almost the opposite. So kosher is not the same as halal because kosher is
wrong.
food that's fit or proper for Jewish dietary laws. Halal only is for meat and how it's on how the meat is killed.
There you go. I'm a little bit wiser. That'll be fixed somewhere in the vaults in there to be retrieved on a prompt.
But as I say, you get kosher salt ATL, so it can't just be on slaughter. So
yeah, I don't care. I like a bit of bacon.
Being kosher means you make sure it's bug free.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Different rules for fish and grape products.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, fine if people don't want to eat certain foods. Well, that's been around for years, hasn't it? With vegans and vegetabilists and stuff like that. Personally,
Yeah, we get different labelling over here as well, ITL. So
yeah, I've actually got it's saved in one of my files somewhere. I've got a list of about 30 6-digit codes, which are very small to see on food packaging. And you've got to check the number on this list against the number of the meat you're buying, and it'll tell you whether it's halal or not. So to buy a piece of meat is going to take you 20 minutes of research if you want it a certain type. There are shops, because of what's going on, have come out and said that they do have separate sections in the UK for halal and non-halal meat. But the problem when you come across with that is if the labelling isn't clear, you got the idiots from both sides that are going to mix them up on the shelves, aren't they? You know. And there was one the other day with a little sticker underneath it. Very well done. This is halal chocolate. I'm like, what? Oh, dear.
I must look for some kosher markings next time I'm shopping.
The thing is that they're putting so much information on these labels now that it's all being reduced in size and it's impossible to see it at a glance. You know, unless you do a lot of research before you go shopping, your shopping's going to take a lot longer because it's like when the calorie thing blew up. Everybody's standing there in the aisles looking for 10 minutes at the list of calories, what's in it, you know, because it just wasn't plain. Well, you probably know yourself, ATL, to cut an animal's throat, especially a cow or a sheep, you do need quite a sharp knife. It's not an easy task. It's not as easy as people would think it would be. Yeah, don't they have to be specially trained in it or something? And it's also down to, I don't know whether it's the Jews, but one lot won't eat meat unless it's been prayed over after it's been killed, you know. Yeah, it's not easy, ATL. I've had to do it on many occasions. It's not a pleasant task, and it is not easy. It's the only one that I'd put on kin to it is when you've got to deflate an inflated carcass that's been laid out for a few days. That's not very nice either. but but yeah, and I've never cut a human's throat, but when you think about it, to cut a human's throat, you've got to go through the windpipe. You've got muscles down the side here. I mean, on the dark web, you see beheadings. Well, you used to be able to watch them on YouTube, and you'll never see somebody do a beheading with a knife that's straightforward, a couple of cuts. It's same with Guinnesses. I have to bless before drinking. Fucking hell, Moo. Yeah, what would you do?
Oh.
Blood of Christ. Yeah, what was the old one that we used to use? Oh, yeah, in the name of the old man, the kid, and the spooky. When you're crossing yourself. Yeah, you think about that, Moo, putting that on the serious side. There's a lot of people nowadays that feel blessed if they've just got any food on the table. It's not an easy period of history to get through, I don't think. Although people in the past have had it worse.
The other big reason for kosher and halal not being the same is the shoket, or however it's pronounced, the slaughterer, is Jewish. So he ain't going to be producing halal meat.
So he has to be Jewish for it to be classed as
yes.
Kosher. Okay.
A kosher slaughterer is a specially trained Jewish person who performs ritual slaughter of animals and poultry according to Jewish law, ensuring the animal is healthy and the cut is swift, painless and precise with a razor sharp knife to drain the blood. After which a blessing is recited. So there's no mention of stunning, and so
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I said before. I mean, we used to
being brilliant, ATL. It's just Google.
We used to go and collect buckets of blood, basically, because we used to mix it in with the shark chum and the shark feed as an attractant. And they were quite happy. And most of it only goes towards fertilizers and stuff anyway. Yeah, it's more in line with our way of life, isn't it, ATL?
It's two specific ways of slaughter that fulfill religious requirements.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ATL. Blood pie is blood pudding is better. Blood pudding is better than blood pie.
Oh, I don't eat anything like that. No.
Black pudding is blood pudding. And yeah, I'm with the Klingons. I like my blood pudding.
I don't like black pudding. Yeah. I'd rather have an extra rash or a bacon.
I don't know whether that what's that? Can you remember that Yank's name that comes over and tries English food?
Oh yeah, Summit Hunter. He's actually a ghost hunter.
Yeah, paranormal ghost hunter. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he comes over and
I
tries.
don't know whether he's come over and tried black pudding yet.
Tried all. he tours over here and tries all the traditional English food stuffs. And yeah, his reactions are quite funny on some of it. But there again, you know, I mean, ATL would probably know this. A lot of American food is more processed than ours here.
Graham's alive.
And, you know, hence why some of the stuff that they produce over there is banned here, because it doesn't meet our standards. And this is another thing with the EU. Everything that we buy off the EU is supposed to be up to our standards of food, and quite often they're not. Yeah, exactly, HO. Yeah, chlorinated chicken. Yeah. You know, they messed around with livestock and cereals and crops for years now. And I'll be honest that half the complaints and problems that people have with their health today seem to have exploded after they started using chemicals, because a lot of it was never known before. Horse meat. I actually like horse meat, Lodger. It is sold in selected butchers that are licensed to over here. I would say it's better than beef, to be honest.
We had a really nice restaurant around here that served really good steak at a very good price, and everybody said it was horse. Well, if it was, it was lovely.
Oh no, I mean the French eat it regular, but it's sweet. It's just nice. It's Nina. Good evening, Graham. How you doing, buddy?
I told you Graham's alive.
He's alive. I didn't see the comment. It's all right. It's where I'm tired. My eyes are.
And you tune me out.
No, funny enough, Lodger, I don't go a lot on venison.
Me too.
Wild boar. Oh yes. And kangaroo.
I love my venison.
But yeah, it's a lot of it's the health issues seem to have exploded around the time that the chemicals were starting to be introduced. I see you on the video the other night, Graham. Marty's party when he came down there for your man's retirement. I did see you sitting in the background there. Yeah, sorry, Graham. You know how I miss comments.
That's why I said Graham's alive.
But it's a choice of, because they're not right in front of the camera. It's either looking at the camera when I'm speaking to you, or, you know, keep my eye on the comments.
Or listen to me.
Yeah, you had a few down for that, didn't you, Graham? That was a bit of a session, I think. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be the amount of live streams coming from protests now. Whether the police are interfering with that, I know Marty keeps getting letters and messages saying not to attend. But yeah, and the thuggery ones, Antifa, they seem to be dropping off a lot. You know, we know they're paid. We know they got a 2-3 hour slot where they've got to be there to get their money and collect their signs and shit. But yeah, Marty did say in an earlier video, Graham, that they were expecting you to be a bit late. You had something else on. So, no, that was one I did watch. I had a feeling that you'd be there. So, well, this is why ATL. I said right from the beginning, I would absolutely love to go on one of these big protests, but physically with my health, I wouldn't last, and I would actually be endangering myself. Because I don't like the police. I will argue with them if I need to.
You'll argue with them if you don't.
But the thing is, if they twisted my arms up my back straight away, there's a 70% chance if they did it in the wrong way, I would lose the use of my right arm because of my destroyed shoulder. A baton strike, well, that could be very dangerous with my blood issues, and also very susceptible to blood clots and shit like that. I've had a bypass, so a good strike with a baton, even on the body, could cause internal bleeding. Blood clot in the brain that I had, so a good strike over the head could be fatal. These are things that I've got to consider. The fact that I can't walk more than 30, 40 yards without a rest means I wouldn't be able to march with a protest. And I wouldn't be able to do it. I just literally wouldn't be able to do it as much as I'd like to. I had planned to try and get to one in Birmingham, which would be our nearest. And when I looked at what they were doing and the march route and stuff like that, I said, well, I'd see the start and that would be it. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, he did say it was your idea, Graham. Yeah, the police should just say safety. Yeah, they're the same here, ATL. They come out with all sorts of bullshit, but it's usually, we're doing this for your own safety. Straight away, my reply was, well, I've got to this age without your fucking help and advice, so fuck off, I don't need it now. They tell you to move off the road because you're in danger while standing in the middle of the road. That's the easy one to sort with me, Graham. As you know, I don't drink alcohol anymore. Haven't done for well over 15 years now. And I'll be honest, I had good times when I was drinking. But the trouble is, because of the drink, half of it was forgotten. So I don't really miss it. Yeah. And this is why I say a lot of this is coordinated, ATL. The Australian police come up with the same bullshit. The Americans come up with the same bullshit. The English come up with the same bullshit. And most of the continental ones, bar the Germans, they just go in baton first. Don't matter who it is. But yeah, everything seems to be coordinated. They're all coming up with the same ideas at the same times. You'll get one that'll implement something like Australia did with the kids' internet ban. So as soon as the others see how that go, oh yeah, that's kind of working. That's keeping them under control. Right, we'll have some of that as well. And the only way that could happen, the way it's happening, is if it's coordinated, if they talked about it between each other. And we're better. Davos. I said I'd fuck it up.
Exterminate.
Davos.
Exterminate.
These big meetings when they're all in the little back rooms. Yeah. I'm convinced it's coordinated. And I think it's the WEF and entities like that, BlackRock and shit, that are organising it. The WEF, basically, they're a super criminal organisation. They're quite open about all they want to do is rule the fucking world. And that's coming from some of the richest people in the world. Yeah. All adds up, doesn't it? OLS? Does that mean you're off, ATL? I'm only going to keep going for another 10 minutes or so anyway. As I say, I am very tired. I am hungry. I only had a snack earlier on rather than an evening meal.
I can't work out what OLS means. I'm off thick.
Well, that is the other thing, ATL. And I've said this about our government. With their corruption, their lies, and everything else, they're not even trying. Nobody's trying to hide it anymore. They know we know about it, so they're just doing it and ploughing on. I mean, Labour here in the UK, every time one of them opens their mouth, you can guarantee they're going to tell a lie about something, or hide something, or try and cover something. That's how they work.
But you call them out to conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it is, ATL. They know they're going to get flack no matter what they do. So they're just being open about it now. Yeah, Graham. I mean, I much preferred the past. I talked about it earlier. The differences, with tech. Laws were put in place to persecute criminals, keep people safe. Now laws are being introduced, and the only ones they're designed to protect are the ones that are making them. And I think, seriously, do believe that's why they want to drop the stuff out of the Hillsborough law, because they're protecting their own ass from the cover-ups of the inquiries. And, as I said, the big one is the grooming gangs inquiry.
Can you imagine if we went back to the 70s and you could smoke in pubs, but the only food you could get in there was chicken in a basket?
Chicken in a basket, or cheese and onion crisps and a pickled onion, wasn't it? If you had a good landlord, you might have a pork pie on offer.
Round here it was cheese and onion roll.
But that's why I said, ATL, Britain, the UK, has got the most number of political prisoners in prison at the moment. Even more so than communist countries. What other food did you need? Not a lot, mate.
Steak would be nice.
Couple of orders of bacon at some point through the week. But I mean, I'm still very, very similar now in the way I deal with food. There are a lot of foods that I used to eat for what they produce in me. I ate food to stay healthy. I ate food so I had the energy to work. When I was young, there wasn't a lot of eating food just for the sheer enjoyment and pleasure of eating it because it tastes nice. We used to eat because you needed to.
But you couldn't eat out back in the 70s.
Oh, you could, but wherever you went out, you got proper food.
Or chicken in a basket.
This is why the little restaurants and pubs out in the middle of nowhere were always popular, because 9 times out of 10 they use local meat, local vegetables, local produce. And you were
stuck at a little chef.
And it was healthy food. And now you think probably the biggest eatery in the country, fucking Witherspoons, they actually buy it in portion sizes. And I know that because one of my ex-girlfriends was, she was billed as a chef there, but she wasn't. She was just a cook. She actually had to count things like peas and slices of carrots to make sure there was an equal amount on the bloody plates. And she said all we did was take a bag out of the fridge, microwave it, put it on the plate.
I was just about to say she was a microwave operator. Yeah,
that's all she was there. And I'll be honest, it was really sad because she was a bloody good chef. And she didn't last there long. She she got given the local pub kitchen to run, and she did quite well there as well. Yeah, and funny enough, I always said it lasted a lot longer in the fridge as well. I don't know why. You can leave your doors on. Yeah, exactly, Graham. I mean, back in the village where I come from, you'd get the local boy, you'd be, oh, I'm going around the fields later, I'll drop you a couple of rabbits in or a couple of pheasants. You'd come home in the evening and find them on your table. Not hung up outside the door, they'd be on your kitchen table waiting for you,
And then sat there with a cuppa in your hand.
I mean, you used to get what they call the latchkey kids. Well, that came later when people started shutting and locking their doors. If there, and the best advice if there was a security risk, hang the key on a bit of string on the inside of the letterbox.
Yeah.
What that had to do with security, I don't know. But our door's always open. Yeah, I used to. I don't go a lot on it now. But as I say, back in the day, it was part of your country diet. And even back then, some of the elites used to think it was their type of food. Yeah, there was more than them eating it. I mean, they even used to have the deer cull every now and again round where I came from. And yeah, the local farms and the shooters always offer you a bit of venison and what have you. I mean, the farm where we used to keep all the equipment, if for any reason there was anything slaughtered up there, you was always offered a bit of meat off of it. You want a bit of leg or whatever.
My dad used to scare off the boyfriends in my life by inviting them around for Sunday dinner and then turning to them and go, are you a leg or a breast man?
Yeah. I prefer a bit of both in proper proportions. But yeah, I mean, it's changed over the years. And I don't believe for the better. But some people like the modern world. It makes them ill. It makes them sick. If that's what they want, get on. Right, I'm going to call it there for tonight, folks. I am very tired, actually. I got away with it last week because I had a kip on the settee in the afternoon. But I did have a bit of a rest today, but didn't fall deeply asleep. So
you snored?
Yeah, I might have snored a little bit. That's probably more me breathing than actually snoring. But
yes, sir. I don't know the difference.
Well, you tell me. That's your problem when you snore. It's not. It's my breathing. But I will leave it there for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for dropping in. Oh, shit. I was going to open the panel for a half hour tonight as well. Oh, well. Never mind. But thank you very much for coming in. Those of you that have interacted, brilliant. It gives me something to go on.
Yeah, good to see you again, ATO and Graham.
Yeah, I know Graham's visits are always brief. But before I go, I will give you an update. As you probably all know, Holly hasn't been in the stream for some time. She's not active or very active on media at the moment, simply because she is concentrating on getting this operation done. It was supposed to have been done by now. She's had it cancelled at least twice. I believe that's so they do it to a lot of people so they can fudge the numbers or how many people are on the waiting lists.
I say it's because of the flu outbreak.
But she's absolutely fine, other than the usual stuff. And she said that she will pop back in when everything's sorted. As I did with Dan, I will give you the odd update. I won't give out a lot of information. But she's fine.
But she doesn't have a cut date at the moment.
Yeah, she still hasn't got a new date. So, but with that, I'll say that's good night from him.
Good night from me as well.
And as always, no matter what you're doing, where you go, stay safe, stay strong, and mostly stay free.
Stay
Respects, guys.
Wicked.
Take care of yourselves.
See you next week.